What's going on, everyone? So the Minnesota Timberwolves may make Donte DiVincenzo available for trade, and he would be fantastic. And because he is on such a cheap deal, pretty much every team in the league could go and acquire him. However, the Minnesota Timberwolves are a second apron team, so that makes things very complicated. That means chances are, if you're going to acquire him, it has to be a three-team deal, which always makes things very complicated. However, you look at Donte DiVincenzo and his salary, he's making $11.4 million this year, 11.9, just a hair under $12 million next year, and then 12.5 in his final year of his contract, which is excellent value for Donte DiVincenzo. Talking about an athletic guard that can shoot, that can defend, a legit two-way guard that, for whatever reason, the Minnesota Timberwolves have not given him a consistent role and consistent minutes. I mean, I would start him over Mike Conley, right? Like, Donte DiVincenzo, what he provides, that athleticism, the defense, right, his three-point shooting. I'm not saying he's a star or anything like that, but he is a very good player. And he would make a lot of sense on a lot of teams. And he is one of those guys that can put it up in a hurry, right? He's one of those guys that you blink and all of a sudden he has 28. And I would love to acquire a Donte DiVincenzo. Here's the problem. Again, it makes things incredibly complicated because the Minnesota Timberwolves are a second apron team. So they cannot take back salary and they cannot aggregate contracts. So they can't stack contracts to make things work. Like, it just, things become very complicated. So if you're the Lakers, not only do you have to get past the point of Minnesota even wanting to deal Donte DiVincenzo to you, right? Because you got to think, it's a Western Conference team that you're competing against. Or they really want to give you Donte DiVincenzo? Two, right? What is the cost of Donte DiVincenzo? It's probably not cheap, right? They're probably not just going to give him away. It's probably not going to be a first, or a second round pick or multiple seconds. Probably going to want a first round pick to get off of him, right? Like, he was the big prize to them. Obviously, Julius Randle is Julius Randle, but they kind of were like, we don't really know what we want to do with Randle. Are we going to keep him? Are we not? There's question marks about his fit. I talked about that I thought Minnesota got worse and that I thought Minnesota would have their struggles and that I didn't really like their team as much as I did previously. And so far, that's reigned true. Now, look, it's very early, but they're 8-7, and they've lost to a bunch of very bad teams. From Portland multiple times to they just lost to Toronto, right? Like, they're not losing to really good teams. They're losing to very bad teams. And so that is a problem in and of itself that they need to address. And they are just kind of stuck. They're just kind of tied. And in my opinion, I think that they made a terrible decision in that trade. But it's too late, right? They made the trade. And Donte DiVincenzo was one of the prizes that they deemed, and they didn't want to do the deal without Donte DiVincenzo. That was the guy they were pushing for more than anybody. And now they got Donte DiVincenzo, and they want to trade him now? And it's weird that, like, he can't find consistency on that roster when, I mean, he's easily one of their top 6-7 guys at worst, right? Like, it's very odd to me kind of what the plan is there in Minnesota. But, if he becomes available and you're the Lakers, I think you at least inquire. I think you at least talk. Now, could Minnesota, the only way I could really see something like this going down, which I want to start by saying I do not see going down. If I'm being honest, I don't think the Lakers have any shot at getting Donte DiVincenzo, if I'm being honest, right? I just think there's too many hurdles that you need to get over for a guy that, again, I like him a lot. I mean, I would start him over Austin Reeves personally, just because, again, better shooter, more athleticism, and just better defender. But that's neither here nor there. Some people might disagree with that, but I would, right? And have him, Cam Reddish, with LeBron James, Dalton Connect, and Anthony Davis. Now you have an entire starting five with athleticism, with shooting, with everything. But again, I digress, right? I just don't see a path there. And I don't think it's worth the assets and hurdles that it would take when you have a team like the Nets that have multiple pieces that you could trade for that make much more sense. And then on top of that, you even have teams like, go get Colin Sexton, right? Like, yeah, he's making more money, but I think he is a guy that gives you athleticism, gives you point of attack, gives you the same production as like D'Lo as far as shooting wise goes and all. Like, and you may be able to get a Walker Kessler, especially if you're going to have to give up picks, right? Like, I'd rather go that route, kind of kill two birds with one stone. Again, if there is a path to Donte DiVincenzo, like if the Lakers can get Donte DiVincenzo, you do it if it makes sense, right? If the deal makes sense. But like, is Minnesota going to want Gabe Vincent and Jackson Hayes in 3 seconds? I don't think so, right? Like, I just don't, like, he's one of their better trade chips, right? Because they're not trading like Anthony Edwards. They're probably not trading Naz Reid, right? They're not trading, Jaden McDaniels. So they have only so many trade chips. Could they trade like Julius Randle because he's expiring? Sure. Kind of like try to hit a reset. But at that point, they're probably better off just staying the course, right? They're probably better off just waiting and letting his money fall off the books. And then now you're below an Abram team, and now you can kind of do some things and make some maneuvers, right? Like I think that would just be a better approach for them anyway, right? So it's very odd. Now, if you're Rob Pelinka, you got to at least do your due diligence. Right? If you're Rob Pelinka, you got to at least pick up the phone and be like, hey, like, what are you looking for, right? Like, we'd be interested, what would it take type thing, and because you never know, right? Strange things have happened. Look, Lakers have had some lopsided trades over the history of their tenure, right? But I just think realistically, you're probably looking at a move that's just, I think it's unrealistic. I don't think you're going to be able to get it. I've seen a lot of people be like, and gotten comments from people that are like, can you make a video about Donte DiVincenzo? Which I'm all for. I love it. Fun conversation, right? It's good to explore. Doesn't hurt to talk about it. But I don't think it's a realistic thing. But getting in Donte DiVincenzo, the player, right? Say that 10 times fast. But he's a guy, 6'4", 203 pounds, right? Play point guard, play shooting guard, right? Kind of one of those combo guards. On the season thus far, again, not having the greatest season, but he's averaging in 15 games. He has not started a single game this year. He's averaging 26 minutes a game on the season. He's shooting 34.8% on 9.2 attempts. He is shooting 32.4% from three-point range on 7.2 attempts. However, this is a guy that's a career 37% three-point shooter, and like the last 2 seasons that you've seen with the Knicks and Golden State, he shot 40%. Around 40%. With the Warriors, shot 39.7% on volume. Right? Last year, you looked with the Knicks, he shot 8.7 threes a game, which was the most of his career, and shot 40.1%. From two-point range this season, he's shooting 43.3%. He has an EFG of 47.5. The foul line, he is averaging 78.6% on just one attempt. So he's not even getting to the foul line to the level that he has, which he's only been around like 1.5 free throw attempts per game. He's averaging 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.4 steals. Would be nice, round up, half a block, 1.7 turnovers, 1.9 fouls, and 10 points a game, which is all down from last season with the Knicks, where he had his best season and averaged 15.5 and was just a very good, very valuable asset. A lot of people look at that and go, man, if he could get back to that, that would be great. And as far as the Lakers and the Lakers fit goes, I mean, he makes all the sense in the world. Again, athleticism, point of attack defense, legit 3-and-D guard. Like, he is everything we want Gabe Vincent to be and then some, right? Because he's athletic, right? He's a guy that can, push the pace, get hot in a hurry. And I do think with a team like the Lakers, I do think he would get back to being that type of guy. I think he'd get back to being that version that we saw the last 2 years, because you'd have guys like LeBron James and Anthony Davis that, not only are attracting all the attention, but you can kick it out. Could you imagine Donte DiVincenzo, especially if he can get back to 40% on 8 attempts, slotted alongside Dalton Connect, who's shooting 46%? That's what I'm saying. Like, go give me Donte DiVincenzo with Cam Reddish till Jared Vanderbilt gets fully healthy. Dalton Connect, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. You got defense. You got point of attack, right? You got athleticism. You got three-point shooting, right? Like, give me something like that. I'd be all for. But in all honesty, like Donte DiVincenzo, I think the way the current Lakers are built, you'd probably start him. I'm not gonna lie, right? Like you're probably starting him just based on the rest of the guys on the roster. But on most teams, he's probably best suited as a sixth man. He can have his inconsistencies at times. Again, he's not a star. He's not a superstar. He's nothing like that. But he is a guy that, again, when he's on and he's cooking, get out of his way, give the kid the ball, and let him go to work. He's still also 27 years old, so he's a guy that, through his contract will only be 30, and now you're in good shape, to kind of get a piece. But again, I would love it if it could happen. Sure, sign me up. Like, I wouldn't hate it at all, especially he's cheap enough to where, like, you wouldn't have to sell the farm. But realistically, I don't think it's a real option. And I don't think it's even worth the Lakers. Again, you pick up the phone and you just make the touch base call, but I don't think it's something that the Lakers should spend time trying to figure out when, you have other options. Dennis Schroeder, Dennis Schroeder can do what he's doing this year for Brooklyn, give me him, right? Because he at least has familiarity along LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and I do think that he gives you a lot of the same things that you want Donte DiVincenzo to give you, right? So I just think that there's other options. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Kind of mix in the middle. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.